Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 1. That's right, WandaVision ended and we're jumping right back into the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Didn't even get a chance to have a rest. We're back in it. New characters, new world. It was really fun. I don't know if this episode was impressive as the first episode of WandaVision for me. That's because my particular interest lies towards the more meta-narrative stuff sometimes. I love the aspect ratio and the colors and everything that came with WandaVision. This was very solid. Very impressed by everything we got in this episode. A lot of surprises. A lot of great character moments. This is the thing that I think made me think this was going to be the first show on Disney Plus like before COVID and stuff. This feels like it's telling you what Disney Plus and Marvel is going to be, because it's very much like these are the moments you do not get to see in the film. We have 2.5 hours to tell our story. They're big and they're bold. We can't go into these personal little details, stuff we've never seen in the movie before, and that is so cool. I was very surprised by a lot of what we got in this episode. In particular, the fact that Falcon and Winter Soldier, they don't meet at all. They don't even talk to each other in this episode. They are nowhere near each other in this episode. It is so cool that we got that. I thought that was a really fun thing to see. So we start off, I think they said it's like a couple months after the events of Endgame. They're both still adjusting to their lives without Steve and trying to fit into this world. We start off with Falcon, with Sam Wilson. He's working for the military. He's like doing this weird like kidnapping thing. Well, there's Batroc is back. Batroc kidnapped this guy in the military. Falcon is calling to save him. A really great action scene. That was very impressive to see. That looked like some of the best aerial combat that Marvel has ever done. It had a very distinctive look, a very distinctive feel. That new costume for Sam is looking great, by the way. My goodness, how great is that we got a really cool Falcon costume? Like, just him flying through the airways, dodging bullets, dodging missiles, everything looked great. The way he used Red Wing was really cool. Still wish it was a bird, but I don't know if the audience could handle that, because it's kind of silly. But wouldn't it be cool in this show if just randomly he uses his, like, bird power, he kind of, like, talks to a random bird or something? That would be pretty sick. I would lose my mind if we saw that. But it looked great. So Batroc gets defeated again. He's not dead. Not dead again. Jose St. Pierre, you know, he keeps going like, I'm gonna be a bad force, but you get beaten every time you show up, bud, so whatever you say, man. A great opening scene. Way to get us into this world. We are introduced to a new character who played a significant role in this episode, surprisingly. His name is Torres. Now, some of you might not be familiar with it. There is a character in Marvel Comics called Joaquin Torres, and he is somebody who takes up the mantle of Falcon, I think during the time that Sam becomes Captain America, or maybe before or after. Basically, we're gearing this guy up to become Falcon, I'm pretty sure, because the two of them got a great relationship. You know, Sam is just like willing to hang out with him, have a beer while he's fixing his suit and stuff. Very cool stuff to see. Also, you know, Joaquin's the one that kind of shows us that the Flake Smashers aren't possible. So he's using like this weird tech on his phone. He shows us one of their symbols, and he's kind of investigating this, kind of like being the sidekick to the sidekick of Sam Wilson. I thought that was a very cool thing to see. We're setting up that Torres is going to be a very cool character. I really like to see that. We get a lot of great moments with Sam in this episode. It's all about him pretty much. We get some great stuff with Buck, but it's all about him pretty much. One of the things I like is we all thought that the scene at the opening was going to be he's at the funeral of Steve Rogers. He's not. It's like a Flash museum opening up for Steve Rogers, basically what it is. And he's saying, like, Steve gave me this mantle to be Captain America, but I'm not ready. I don't think the world needs a Captain America right now. And my favorite moment of the episode does come in this scene. So there's a small moment. I know probably a lot of people picked it up, but Don Cheadle is there. I really like this moment of Don Cheadle. Just, he's not saying anything. He's not even doing much. He's just staring at Sam in the scene. And you're like, these are the two guys in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Sam Wilson, James Rhodes, who are quintessentially the sidekick for the two biggest heroes in their respective universe. And these two, their friends are dead, or they've moved on. Now it's them taking up the mantle. Quintessentially, it's the two African-American characters taking up the mantle of Captain America and Iron Man from their predecessors, which is like a very cool thing to see, because you just see the acknowledgement from Rhodey, like, I get it, man. I understand what you're going through. And he's trying to talk to Sam later, like, I think it should be you, but I hope you understand what the world's at and what you're doing so you can feel better about your choices and that stuff. Very cool moment. I really enjoyed having that because I'm like, that is such a good moment. It just was really powerful and engaging. I really enjoyed that. It's so nice. It's so nice. And again, a moment we don't get in a film. We just wouldn't, and it's very cool to see. We do get a lot more stuff with Sam than you'd probably be expecting. So we spend a lot of time with his sister. He's going back home to Louisiana. You know, his sister owns like their family boat, and they're like catching fish and stuff. But she's losing money. Like she's mortgaged the house, all this stuff. A lot of finance talk. It's cool. I think it's, again, something you wouldn't see in a movie where it's like Sam's like, okay, I understand everything's bad here, sis. We can go to the bank. I can talk to them. You know, maybe my goodwill will help people understand what we're doing here, and maybe that's going to be enough to get us where we want to be. But she is just like, her name is Sarah. Sarah's like, you're an idiot. Like, that's not going to work. I don't care who you are. You went off to play military man, then you're fighting some big purple dude. Like, you don't get it. Like, I've stayed here and have tried everything to make our parents' business run. It hasn't. It's falling down. It's falling apart, Sam. We can't keep it afloat. That's just the way the world goes. Very cool moment. Like, it was just really, really nice to see that. Very good chemistry between the two. I love it. Just Sam acting like Sam. This, like, in these scenes where he's back home, he's talking to his friends, his nephews, you get the sense of Anthony Mackie shining through, which I really like because, holy shit, I'm surprised by him every time I see him. Like, he's a very talented actor. You'd think he'd be one note. I don't know why. He just gives off like an Eddie Murphy vibe, but he's way better than Eddie Murphy. It's really great to see that. I loved his story. Absolutely fantastic. I don't want to say it's overshadowed by Bucky's story, but that was really impressive. Bucky's story was great. So basically, we see Bucky is going to therapy. He's trying to like figure out like how to be better, pretty much. Like, the therapist is telling him like, you have been here for a long time. You have a moment to rest. You need to catch your breath and figure out what it is you want to do as a civilian. But he's like, can you give me a break? I've been alive for like 100 years, and of 90 of those, I've been in a constant war. It's a battle after a battle after a battle. I've never had a chance to catch my breath. Now I do, and you're trying to tell me to do it faster? I don't know what you want from me. I love that a lot. I love this idea. The way that scene is filmed, like just like up close on the faces and framed so like intensely and close on the picture, it's very uncomfortable and gives you a sense of like there is something creepy about the way Bucky is feeling in this situation. He doesn't know what to do. He is alone in this world. He hasn't returned any of Sam's calls. He's literally just like doing nothing. He's going back to Brooklyn. That's about it. It's great stuff. So we see he's got a journal of all the people and all like the legacies of like families and stuff. He's trying to rectify his mistakes as the Winter Soldier. Very fun to see. We get a flashback of him taking out like these operatives as the Winter Soldier. There's like a civilian that watched that he kills, and that's kind of how we start like this idea, and I thought that was really powerful. We see him go back to Brooklyn. He's with this old man. You're like, that's really fun. I thought that was a cool thing to, you know, like, of course you'd relate to the old people. I love it a lot. You know, they like go to like a restaurant, like the guy's like, he wants to ask you on a date, and she's like, oh, I'm free that night, and like, oh, that's fun. Buck's going on a date, and it's just classic old-fashioned stuff. Just shows up to the date, got a bunch of flowers, doesn't know how to use a phone, you know, just so fun because he's 100. He's not going to know how to use this stuff. He never had to use it before. He was brainwashed most of his life. How would he know how to like use a phone to go like on an online dating thing? Of course, he's going to come to the shop and bring her flowers. It is so cool. And the idea is that this old man that he's hanging out with, he knows that the civilian he killed in the flashback was this man's son, and that guy never got closure, and it kind of haunts him in this. It's so brilliant. I really, this is great. This is exactly what you should do with a Bucky story, because it gives you sympathy to the broken down character that he is. It worked so well. I was so impressed with what we saw with Bucky. Just brilliant stuff. I'm just like, if this is the future, if WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier are the future of the Marvel Universe, it is going to last forever. It is unbelievable, the personal stories we are getting with these characters that we never saw in film. These are the sidekicks, essentially. They are now becoming their own people. I thought that was great. So Bucky, you know, his date kind of goes like, yeah, it broke him. Like, essentially losing his son broke him. He never really healed, or like no word for like losing your son or losing your family. And Bucky just kind of leaves and doesn't come back to say anything. And he's just broken. You can see it broke him, and he's so intense. Again, Sebastian Stan. I mean, I knew he was a good actor, but again, this show has proven, the Disney Plus stuff has proven, these people are actors. We're letting them act instead of just doing like the weird wavy hand stuff, the weird action stuff. They are really good at acting. That was great to see. A very solid episode. We are just getting back in the world of Sam and Buck. It looks great. They're having fun. I really enjoy that. Their chemistry, I can't wait to see it. I'm kind of excited. Like I've said before, I'm not a fan of these characters. Sam, he's fine. Bucky, he's fun. I've never liked those characters too much. Like, I've always thought they were great supporting. But if this is the future, if this is what we're setting up, it's fantastic. We see a shot where Joaquin Torres gets beat up by some of the Flag Smashers. We see, like, they're superpowered. They don't know what kind of superpower. Sam says, don't tell anybody about that. The bank doesn't give Sam and Sarah the money. So they're like, what are we going to do now? We're going to lose the house. Probably not. We're probably going to see that like get rectified at the end in some regard of the word. But, you know, Sam is just frustrated. Nothing's working out for him. And at the end of the day, Sarah comes in the room like, you got to see this. And we see a press conference on the screen of the government of America, and they're like, we need heroes, we need people to stand by, and ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce to you the new Captain America, and there he is, in all of his glory, John Walker, ladies and gentlemen. I am a massive John Walker fan. Just a blundering dumbass of a character, literally just a puppet and a prop in like the game of government. He is just nothing. He is just so silly and dumb. And he'll never have his own, like, true identity, because he's either going to be the second Captain America or the one that isn't Captain America. Wyatt Russell looked so good. Just like the head nod, the wave, the wink. Brilliant. Absolutely. He crushed it. He crushed it. It was like 2 seconds. He sold me on being that dick. I loved it so much. I was so impressed with that. Absolutely worth it. I just loved this first episode. Very strong. Very great way to show us the struggles of Sam and Bucky currently standing in this world. I can't wait to see what comes next. Great story. Absolutely fantastic. It blew my mind. I was like, this is what we're doing? You got me. I'm sold. Let's go. So that is my review of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 1. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.